Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. We are in a bull market, okay? I firmly believe this. XRP, where it's at today, as I record this, I understand it's down along with the rest of the market. This does not mean that the world is ending. It does not mean that crypto is going to stop existing and that everything's going to zero. That's a bunch of nonsense. We do have 12 years worth of data that shows that despite the fact that this is the most volatile asset class in the world, that this type of price activity is actually normal. But despite what we're seeing today, which is making people very fearful, the market's been trending upwards for 12 years, and there's no sign that's actually going to stop. Crypto's not just going to magically go away because there's value to it, and value is different than price. I'm talking about the fact there is utility to be had with crypto, even though most cryptocurrencies admittedly don't do anything. If there's value there, humans aren't just gonna broom that for forever. If there's utility within crypto and there's an asset that makes it possible, there's XRP, pick your cryptocurrency, well, then those assets will be traded in perpetuity on open markets for as long as they're actually useful. Right? And I understand, again, yes, like I said, there are a lot of cryptocurrencies that are useless right now. They don't functionally do anything, but why are they here? Well, the market's in its nascency. The messiness of all of this, it's just people figuring it out by betting against each other, basically. Some betting in favor of a crypto going up, some selling and betting that that's their bet that it's going to go down or away, and that's just the messiness of it. That's it. But I want to talk about something specific in this video. The XRP price action, what's happened right now. I'm gonna talk about what has happened to this calendar year with XRP price action, and I want to compare it to what happened last market cycle, because frankly what we're seeing is not weird at all. It would be weird if we didn't see a massive pullback along these lines. That would have been weird. That would have been the outlier. The fact that we're seeing this, it's like, okay, so fine, we never knew exactly when it was going to happen or exactly how intense it was going to be, but in a general sense, I'm just saying this makes sense. There we are. And when Bitcoin was hovering at its all-time high around $65,000 on this channel at that moment, while it was easy to think that it was just going to continue onwards and upwards forever, I was warning, guys, at some point, there is going to be a pullback. It's going to be massive. Don't be surprised if the price of Bitcoin gets chopped in half, roughly, whether it's a little less than that, a little more than that, whatever. I don't know. I wasn't pretending to know, but I said don't be surprised because this isn't going to go up in a straight line forever. And now we've seen this. The day of reckoning, more like weeks of reckoning, right? And we've seen markets just tank. And so I believed it would happen at some point. And so I'm sleeping easy. This is not scary. This is not unexpected. And it doesn't mean that the sky is falling. I frankly just don't care. And look, I want to be clear, I don't have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and so you should not buy or sell anything because anything I say are right. But I do think it's fun to talk about these topics, just share my everyday Joe Schmo opinion, and I love getting opinions from others as well. Diversity of thoughts, hey, what a super duper fun thing. As I record this, XRP is at 61 cents, Bitcoin's at $32,394, market cap for the asset class down to 1.3 trillion. Bitcoin dominance up to 46.4%. Now consider historically what has happened with the price action of XRP. Let's get a little bit of context. I think this might help you feel a little bit better, frankly. Because for many years, actually, after the creation of XRP, when it was first traded on open markets, it was volatile just like crypto's volatile. But for a long period of time, years in fact, it was pretty normal to see XRP worth about half a penny. There's a point in the early days, it may have been, I'd have to go back and double check, it may have been within the first year that it was traded on open markets when XRP went from half a penny to 6 cents. Now, in terms of going up just, 5.5 cents, that doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a 12-fold increase. A 12-fold increase. There's real money to be had for the people that were participating at that point in time. And so there was this 12-fold increase. And I bet things felt pretty good there. Oh my God, it's finally rallied, and maybe it's going to keep going. And if you happen to have been unfortunate enough to buy at the top of that rally, not so fun for a while because it did crater back down. It did go back down to about half a penny again. Now, was that the end of the world? No, but did people get wrecked? Yeah, all sorts of people did. The people bought the top, people sold the bottom, not sufficiently considering, like a longer time horizons, and it didn't go well. Now, let's compare specifically, though, what happened last market cycle, because we're pretty well seeing it again this market cycle. Now, look, I've many times on this channel mentioned that during the last market cycle, XRP traded sideways for about half a year. From May 2017 until its rally really got going, which was roughly mid-December 2017, it was trading within a fairly narrow range half a freaking year while Bitcoin was climbing. So everybody's like, oh my gosh, XRP, what a crap coin, it's never going to rocket. Of course, then then it did. Yeah, so it was only not impressive until it was very impressive, right? But think about this. What happened before that? What was the price action of XRP even before that? Well, it started out the year at, you may have guessed it, about half a penny, or at least the market cycle. I guess I'd have to go back again to be sure, whatever, because maybe the half a penny was in the later part of 2016, but it doesn't matter just for the concept I'm trying to get across here. This is about right. Because I know it did start the market cycle at about half a penny, so even if it wasn't the beginning of 2017, certainly the market cycle, it was at about half a penny. And so what happened? Well, it ran up. It ran up to over 40 cents. And that's what I've actually got on the screen here. Here you go. So about mid-May 2017, it says it got up to here on Live CoinWatch 39.2 cents, but it actually did wick above that to, I don't remember the exact number, 41, 42, 43 cents, whatever it was. It just doesn't show it on the screen here, but it did. XRP was being sold on open markets above 40 cents for the first time ever after basically being at about half a penny for a number of years. That's what, and there was volatility in between. I'm not pretending there wasn't, but that's mostly what it was looking like. But so what happened? Well, if you're one of the people that you bought at the top of that, you think, oh my god, this thing's really going. It's probably got legs. It's going to keep going. In the short term, you would have been disappointed because it actually crashed back down. In fact, it got down to somewhere between 10 to 15 cents. And so you're talking about a price crash of about 70 to 75% for XRP. And so there were people that sold at the bottom of that after buying the top. And so the people that bet that XRP was going to keep going up at that moment in time when it was at 40 cents, they happened to have been wrong. But, you know, as XRP price crashed down, the people that sold at the bottom, they were wrong too. They're like, oh my gosh, I better just get out. This thing's going to keep tanking. And that is exactly how people behaved, isn't it? Okay, but what actually ultimately happened? Well, it traded sideways, as I cited a minute ago. It traded sideways for about half a year, but it went down before it went on the rest of its rally towards the tail end of 2017. It did crash 70, 75%, somewhere thereabout. And I'm using rough numbers, but it'll be around there, right? And so what did we see with XRP this year? Well, XRP started this year in the low 20-something cent range, whether it's 22, 23 cents. And then it ran up to about $2. And now as I record this video, it's now down to 60 cents. And when I started, it was at 61 cents. It's now at 60 cents. And so XRP's come down, whatever the percentage is, not far off from 75%, whether it's 70, 75%, somewhere there again. And so the people that bet that XRP, when it was at $2, were going to keep going, they happen to have been wrong. It wasn't going to go at that exact moment. Okay, we didn't even know that for sure. But you know, if you bet that it was at that moment in time, now you might regret that. But on the flip side, where's the bottom for this thing? And we're leaving this in real time, so we don't know. But I'd be willing to bet the people that are betting against XRP having an explosive move at some point unknown in the future, I think those people are going to be really disappointed with their emotional selling if they do it. So look, I'm not telling you to buy or sell or hold, to be clear. I'm just saying what I suspect will be the case for many people, because I personally do think that XRP is going to go much higher. And so I'm just saying what we saw last market cycle with XRP getting up to what was then its all-time high of like 42 cents or whatever it was, crashing maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of 75%, and then trading sideways. Well, that's where we are right now with XRP. It got up to about $2. It's crashed 70 to 75%. And right now, you know, maybe this is an accumulation phase, looks like. So we could be trading sideways for some time. But I'm just sharing with you, none of these instances that have occurred in the past, none of these were instances that XRP was going to go to zero and go away forever. It scared the hell out of people in the short term, because whether you bought it back in 2013, 2014, and you rode it from half a penny to 6 cents, which was a 12-fold increase. That's monstrous in terms of percentage gain, and then all the way back down, or whether you purchased it at 40 cents after seeing it run up from half a penny to 40 cents, and then you unfortunately bought it at that, what was then the high, and then you saw it tank back down to 10 or 15 cents. Like, that doesn't feel good, but the human emotions you feel that makes you want to get out of it, feeling those emotions is not an indication that XRP is or isn't going to do something. It's just you feeling something. It doesn't mean a damn bit of anything. And so I know humans behave like this. That's one thing I'm absolutely counting on, because the people that respond like that, buy and sell emotionally, and there are a ton of them, it's the typical retail speculator, we need them to behave like that in order for markets to do what they do. And the same's true of the stock market. It's just more volatile in the crypto asset class, but it's true in stocks as well. We need them. I jokingly call them, somewhat affectionately, useful idiots. Right? Because these are not logic-based decisions. And so I'm just observing they do that, and then I hold. I personally believe that, maybe we'll see XRP accumulate for some amount of time, but eventually it is going to go up dramatically again, and quite a bit. That I personally believe that. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, fine. But I do not believe that we've seen the best yet for this market cycle for XRP. Here's a tweet from my fellow XRP YouTuber, Kevin Cage. I'm not worried for those that have at least been in crypto since 2017. They know exactly what it takes. I'm worried for newcomers that bought 100% of their assets at all-time high prices earlier this year and decide to panic sell after a 50% or even 90% crash. Ding, ding, ding. I am absolutely on the same page as you, my good friend Kevin Cage. Absolutely, I feel that way. And so all the people, think about this, when Bitcoin is at $65,000, the laser eyes, the diamond hands, oh, it could never go back down. And if you said it was going to go back down at some point in the future, you were an idiot. Well, then I guess I was an idiot. I ended up being right, though. I didn't know, again, I'm not pretending like I knew exactly when it would go to, when it would start tanking or what the percentages would be. But I said, like, I do not expect this to go up in a straight line forever. That's just not what the historical data would have us believe. And so I shared that, but that was not a popular opinion. It definitely was not a popular opinion, but I shared it and I believed it because I think that humans are behaving about the same as they have for the last 12 years with this asset class. And until I see that they're starting to behave differently, why would I think there's going to be a different outcome? You know? Nothing's ever guaranteed, but I don't suspect it. And so now I see that. And so the sentiment was wrong. All of the positive stories, Bitcoin to the moon, all this crap, well, it was wrong. At that moment in time, it was wrong. It doesn't mean it won't rally again, but it was wrong. Way off, actually. And now you're seeing all this fear and Bitcoin crashing down to about $30,000. And I think all the people now that have capitulated, they panic sold, and they say it's going to go even lower, we're back into bear territory, I think they're wrong now. And it's easy to come across all sorts of headlines, especially in mainstream media, saying, oh my gosh, this Bitcoin thing, oh my God. And so with that being the public sentiment, it's just like whatever the public sentiment is, just like do the opposite of, right? And I'm not literally telling you to do or not do something. I'm just saying in a general sense, it's been my experience that whatever is the popular opinion, it's going to be wrong pretty soon. Like that's just what I've seen right now. And so all the people that are saying it's the end of the world here and Bitcoin's crashing, the bull market's over, I don't buy that either. I just don't. For a number of reasons. I'm going to get more into that in just a minute or two here. Here's another tweet from this is from Kaleo, a very popular chart analyst. He told his 322,000 followers the following: your problem is you think day to day. My friends, when in doubt, zoom out. Seriously, if you're looking at the day-to-day price action, zoom out on a chart. What does the 12 years of crypto history price action tell us? It tells us that we're in an uptrend. It tells us it's normal to have this price action. It would be weird if we weren't seeing this suddenly. Then I would be concerned. I'd be like, well, I need my volatility to, get the moon Lambo eventually, right? So what the hell? And then there's chart analyst Credible Crypto, who hasn't been that active the last few days because he was with family. It was a Father's Day weekend, right? And so Credible Crypto wrote the following on Twitter: chill, guys. We've literally been moving sideways for a month now. Was with the family this weekend for Father's Day, so have not been tweeting much. No, we aren't in a bear market. No, crypto isn't going to zero. Some things are just more important, LOL. And so there you go. And you will notice, again, from the respected chart analysts in the space, what do you see from them again and again? They'll disagree on certain specifics about directionally where markets are going. But damn, they're chill about all this because they understand it. And how can you feel that chill? Because you've consumed data that makes it rational to suspect that certain things may occur. Not having data and then making decisions based on emotion, like feeling emotion. Like if you're feeling emotions, it's easy to feel these emotions if you are not armed with data. It's very easy. And so you just don't see that from these guys. There's a reason. There's a reason they have the massive followings that they have. Here's a tweet from chart analyst Leb Crypto. This one was from June 19th, and I covered it that day, actually. And he wrote, a dump to the weekly cannot be ruled out at this point. And he's talking about XRP going anywhere from 54 to 60 cents was his best bet. And then his most recent tweet on this is the following: target zone hit, 56 cents. So he was right. That is where we were going. And XRP at the time was much higher. I can't remember if we were still like 80, 85, almost 90 cents. I can't remember how quick this will happen. All the days blur together. But it was much higher than where we are right now, and he's just expecting it. This is not a surprise. He is not panicking. He's very pro XRP. He also believes we're in a bull market. Look, and so he wrote, bouncing off that level, bouncing off it at the moment, zooming out a bit, which is the second image here. I like the confluence with bouncing off a longer-term trend line. Holding this zone and trend line is important. And here's another tweet from him. Media is bearish. Plenty of FUD, too. Fear, uncertainty, doubt. FUD. I think bears who are calling for much lower levels, shorting now with leverage, will be wrecked soon. Exactly like the bulls at $65,000 for Bitcoin, who got wrecked calling for much higher levels in April, longing with leverage. And then he wrote, I'm neutral. And so that is true, though. The sentiment was wrong then, and I think the sentiment is wrong right now. We're not going to zero. It's so silly, my gosh. Ugh. Well, I feel bad for these people, but I knew that they were going to behave like this, which is it's kind of interesting. Like that, the fact that I believe they're going to behave that poorly and make such poor decisions is the reason. One of the reasons I have such strong confidence in what I'm doing in crypto, because I'm not doing what they're doing. So I don't know if that sounds weird or whatever, but for me it helps tremendously. I see what the lemmings are doing, and I just don't participate. I watched a video from the blockchain backer too, and he was saying a lot of the same stuff too. He gave his technical reasons. I'm not going to cite all the technical reasons in this video, but he firmly believes that we are not entering a bear market, and we haven't seen all of the altcoins pop off like you would expect. Historically, in terms of structurally, how does this, how does this market cycle compare to what we've seen in the past? And it's not complete. The bull portion isn't complete. And Blockchain Backer in his most recent video, he actually showed you if you want to see the specifics, I'll let him articulate it. I don't want to rehash his video. I just like to share opinions from various chart analysts when I talk about price sometimes. But he made the case from a technical perspective as to why it would be super weird if we were actually entering a bear market right now. But this is a popular opinion. And somebody responded to the Blockchain Backer. Somebody named Jordan wrote, "When will you admit that the bear market has started?" That tweet is going to age like a fine milk. The finest of milk. Oh my gosh. So we all get to have our own opinions, and fine. If he's right, he's right. I'm just talking in terms of probabilities. I don't think he's right. The idea that we're in a bear market right now, sorry, Jordan, but I certainly do not suspect that will be the case right here. But this is what you're seeing, and it's just sentiment. It's just sentiment. When things look really good, if you say, well, guys, we might be too much in greed mode. History shows us that we're too much in greed mode. Markets tank. If you say that, people want to swat you away. And then after, things are oversold and there's too much fear out there, you might be like, hey, guys, looks like everything's oversold. In fact, you can see some of the whales and long-term holders actually accumulating. There's data, on-chain data to prove this. Maybe we don't need to be so scary. And then you still get people saying, nah, we're in a bear market. No, we are not in a bear market. And there's not a way that I could know that for sure. I'm not pretending to know for sure. I just feel strongly about it. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. But I'm just talking in terms of probability of outcomes. If we're actually entering a bear market right now, this like what is happening, the way people are behaving, it would be an extreme outlier. We've not seen collectively, global crypto markets behave in such a way. And here's a tweet from DIY Investing. The bottom is in, and I have proof. While panic sellers call for $20,000 per Bitcoin, the charts are aligning for the greatest buy opportunity since 2020. And I watched a video from him too, and he was talking about how Bitcoin's basically is popping up off support. When you see the price get lower, which we've seen in recent days, especially. You might see Bitcoin wick down to like fairly low levels, the lower $30,000 range, and they get bought up like super quick, super duper quick. And it's happening again and again and again. And he showed the charts in his videos. He's like, guys, this is just the data, of course. Does not look like we're in some sort of bear market here. And then you have this too, and this is kind of funny actually. So there's Barry Silbert, who is the founder and CEO of Digital Currency Group, which is the parent company of Grayscale and CoinDesk and some other companies. Absolutely massive. Massive, massive, massive. And so he wrote that 99% of cryptocurrencies are overpriced, and I think that's true. And he certainly knows that. And then what's the headline we got? Look at this from Barry Silbert. He shared a Business Wire article. Digital Currency Group announces plan to purchase shares of Grayscale Ethereum Classic Trust. So yes, indeed, Ethereum Classic, perhaps the worst cryptocurrency on the entire planet, successfully 51% attacked multiple times. Barry Silbert, they're purchasing this from, again, Digital Currency Group, they're the parent company of Grayscale, and they're purchasing the trust from Grayscale. It's the Grayscale Ethereum Classic Trust. And again, think of what he tweeted just on June 14th. 99% of cryptocurrencies are overpriced. That's because it's not about fundamentals. He's still buying this garbage. Now, what does that tell you, though? He's buying one of the worst cryptocurrencies on the freaking planet. Do you think that he thinks the market is over? Or do you think that he thinks that better days, greener days are yet ahead? You tell me, because he just bought the worst crypto on the freaking planet. By the way, I own it too, and I bought it knowing it was a piece of crap. And I think if you fast forward, I don't even know if you'd have to fast forward, whether it be 5 years or 10 or whatever. I don't know. But it's not going to be here. Or at least it's not going to be traded on exchange. If somebody's technically like keeping it alive for historical purposes or something, running the blockchain, that'd be funny, by the way. Maybe that'll happen, though. Put it in a museum. But, maybe something like that'll happen. But it's not going to be traded on exchanges unless something dramatically changes. But it's a piece of trash, and it's not needed, and it's not used for anything. But I think it's going to be worth a whole lot more, and a bubble's going to inflate before it's popped. So I bought it. Why the hell not? And I think I know the whole market moves in tandem. So we'll eventually enter this phase, I firmly believe, where you're going to look like a genius if you bought anything. I think, because that's what happened in late 2017. You couldn't have picked something that was a loser until, of course, the bubble inflated and then popped. But up until that point, everything popped off, and I'm counting on that. Absolutely. And it's just fascinating. They're dropping $50 million into Ethereum Classic. And you think the market's not over, my friend. And you can find negative article headlines like this one from You Today. Bear market confirmed, says crypto quant CEO. Yeah. Well, I'm not convinced of that. And he cites some transactions going to exchanges, or some crypto going to exchanges, which could indicate that bears are going to sell. There's that, yada, yada, yada. Well, do you guys remember in a video I put out just yesterday where I was talking about price? And I showed data proving that long-term holders, after they sold recently, within the selling, mind you, began May 19th. The market started tanking. So think about this. All sorts of individuals that were profiting wildly, they ended up selling. But the data that I showed you was that as things bottomed out, those longer-term holders, they began accumulating more Bitcoin. The market is not over. I firmly believe that. And I always reserve a little bit of space for the possibility of my suspicions being incorrect, and they could be. So I'm just talking about probability of outcomes based on all available data. To me, the most logical thing to believe is that we're still in a bull market, and there's going to be greener days ahead before we do enter a bear market at some unknown point in the future. And that's not a guarantee, but I feel very strongly about that. At this point, I do. And so take a look at this. This is from newsbtc.com. Factors stack in favor of bullish Bitcoin fractal despite latest plunge. And I want to share just part of this. Markets are cyclical, and trends can stretch across years to months to weeks and even days. Technical analysts seek out the earliest signs of a trend and aim to capitalize on that trend as long as they can. The Bitcoin uptrend from the Black Thursday low has clearly come to an end, and there's now confusion in the market around if a downtrend is beginning or if the more dominant primary uptrend stays intact. If the greater bull market is now over for Bitcoin, it is among the shortest in history. Analysts have expected cycles to be lengthening, which adds credence to the theory the bull cycle isn't yet broken. And so look, and I've talked about this on my channel too, and I do find the case to be pretty compelling. There's all sorts of very reputable analysts that have made pretty compelling cases that state, look, crypto market cycles are actually lengthening. And so for Bitcoin to have the shortest market cycle, like just about the shortest one ever, if not the shortest, right now when cycles are supposed to be lengthening, that doesn't make sense. Also, we haven't seen all of the altcoins under the sun pop off, and if that doesn't happen, that'll be the first time in the history of this asset class that we didn't have some explosive alt season with this type of price action. Now, do you think that's likely? Because I don't. I absolutely do not. And then there was this headline from Cointelegraph: institutional selling of crypto reaches longest streak since February 2018. So that might sound kind of scary. But really, what ultimately you can see, if you were to, I'm not going to read through this whole thing, it's on your screen, but I read this article. And what you can see is that there's all sorts of institutional firms that made money, and then they wanted to take profit, right? That's what they did. And so it's not surprising, like, entities do this. But they did wrap up this article by stating the following. I do want to read this. While on-chain metrics seem to show favorable signs of a bottom, namely that Bitcoin is being scooped up by long-term holders at the expense of newer wallets, market sentiment remains overwhelmingly bearish due to negative headlines. China's ban on Bitcoin mining, an ominous death cross for Bitcoin, and Grayscale's giant Bitcoin unlocking in July are just some of the headlines weighing down investor sentiment. Yes, indeed. But what did they cite there? What about that sentence where Bitcoin is being scooped up by long-term holders at the expense of newer wallets? Yes, the newer people that don't know what the hell they're doing, and they're afraid because price goes down right now, and then they're going to have a bad day, frankly. This is exactly what's happening. As Warren Buffett has stated, and he said it about the stock market, but it's true of crypto. He said, the stock market is a mechanism for transferring wealth from the impatient to the patient. Yes, indeed, Warren Buffett, truer words have never been spoken. So I'll just say this. I'm feeling very good about XRP. I've never sold a single XRP. I've been through all the volatility that has taken place since November of 2017, and I've never cashed out any of my crypto into United States dollars. I'm not interested in trying to time markets. I'm a long-term holder, and I think that's going to result in some tremendous profit for me down the road. And if I'm wrong, maybe I lose everything. I'm not pretending there's no risk here. Of course not. But I feel confident. I have armed myself with a sufficient amount of data. I feel like I know what I'm doing, whether I'm right or wrong. I'm aware of it at least. And we'll see how this all shakes out. So let me know what you think in the comments section below. But I'm not afraid of any of this. I'm excited for the future. And I think that the second half of 2021, I think there's going to be some serious, very positive fireworks for the crypto asset class. I think we're going to see a massive bubble inflate, and it will eventually pop perhaps this year, maybe early next year. I don't know for sure, but it's going to happen. And then at that point, you will see prices drop 80, 90%. I just don't think we're there yet. I really don't think we're there yet. But I'm excited for the bubble to inflate so I can finally actually cash out, because I would love to sell the vast majority, if not all, of my crypto. but only if I'm enticed to do so. I need much higher market prices, or I'm just going to sit here and hold it. I am Mr. Patient, my friends. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.